Uniquely me is uniquely you. Balancing the different hats of life, achieving all your goals in the name of Christ. Uniquely me is uniquely you. You can do anything. With the S on your chest, you can do all things through Christ who gives you strength. You are a winner and you're an overcomer. You can be all things to Christ who gives you strength. Yeah.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Uniquely Me with Simone Stewart. No doubt this program is about women, for women, and by a woman. Here we talk about the struggles and the stress and, all the hurdles our women have to go over. But of course, I like to declare my woman not just to be unique, but to be, of course, super woman. No doubt. So guys, just to get a little house cleaning out of the way, have you subscribed to my YouTube channel as yet? It's about time you did. Lots of things happening over there, including click, click, pow. But we'll talk about that another time. All right, so guys, on set today, I have another unique woman. I can't wait to get into her story. Let me tell you a little about her. So she's an empowerment coach. She's a Christian life coach. She's an author of the book Cultivating Purpose, Seed Concept, a wife, a mother, and of course, a pastor's wife. And that is where it really gets interesting. Esther, talking about Esther Sinclair. Esther, welcome to Uniquely Me with Simone Stewart. So, I like to dig first into getting to know you because I'm sure everybody from your church is tuning in right now and they want to hear a lot more about you. But I don't know you, and I'm sure a number of other persons don't know. We want to know, who is Esther? Tell us a little about you.
Well, Esther is a very fun-loving person. I'm very mischievous. But I am a lover of God and I'm a servant of God. I'm sold out and I've made myself available. As you have said, I am a mother of 4 beautiful girls, a wife to 1 husband. And of course, I have many roles and responsibilities. I'm an accountant by profession, but I have a desire to write, which I continue to, expand on. So I believe that there's a lot of possibilities that I'm still exploring about myself.
Awesome. I like that. And that's one of the things I liked when I went through your bio, and I like to go researching my guests. I realized that you've been writing from a young age, but there's something I want to get out of the way right away. So one of the things I discovered about you is that growing up, you were practically always a Christian, for want of a better word, right? But then, us little Christian girls, we like to try to step out of the box a little. And so you did, and something happened. You remember that incident, that night when you had to, I don't know if you call it G.I. Joe or, or what it is. But share with us that experience. What happened?
Well, that experience is a very pivotal aspect of my life. As I said, I have always grown up in the church, but there's always a mischievous side, I'm the person in the classroom who is always clowning around and giving trouble. And of course, there was a time when I used to love to, go to parties and, yes, dance and go on. So I had a set of friends that I was really moving with, and at that time I knew that the call of God was upon my life. I knew it. I knew the voice of God. And I was very active in church, but I still, of course, that young side, I still wanted to go to the fete. So I remember that particular night, the Holy Spirit was very strong and was saying, do not go to the fete. But I was saying, Lord, it's not going to, and I was just explaining away. So long and short, I went to the fete. And, when I went there, it's like it's like my friends that were there, they were smoking, boys were carrying them around the back, and it's like a lot of things were happening. And it's like it just came to me in a very strong way. Why are you here?
Yeah.
And I tell you, it was as a Saul experience where it's like the scales were removed from my eyes. So I decided to say, okay, I'm going to leave this place. And I tell you, when I left, I decided to leave. I didn't know how I was reaching home because I was supposed to get home with one of the girls. So I said, Lord, we just have to work it out. And it so happened that I was supposed to, usually we go to the foot of the hill and we boom ride to go to Red Hills at the time.
Hold on, boom ride.
Yes.
I'm sure some of your young people watching now say, Pastor, boom ride.
Yes, that was the way to go home. You know, we're talking about Red Hills 33 JOS bus that is always full to capacity. Nobody can get into that bus. So, I mean, it was just a normal way to go home. And it was relatively safe. So there was, you know, there was no great caution.
Right.
So I was there, and of course, you know, a lot of other persons were there. I boom a ride. Somebody stopped. I went into the car. And I tell you, when I went into the car, you know, I felt like the Holy Spirit was just saying, danger.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just felt it in such a strong way. So, you know, I was talking with a person and I was saying, you know, where are you going? And then they said, you know, I am going to make a little diversion. And then based on what I picked up, I had my hand on the lever to exit the vehicle.
Yeah.
So based on what they were saying, I said, you know, it's better if you just leave me. And they said, no, man, we're not leaving you because you can wait.
So there was more than one person in the car?
There were 2 men in the car, you know, and they insisted that they were going, you know, they were going to make the detour. And I said to myself, I said, once they turn that corner, I'm going to jump out of this car.
Okay, now.
You know, so I was prepared, and I tell you, I jumped out of the car while they were still driving. And it was a very dark place, and I tell you, I just thought I was going to die that night.
Yeah.
You know, and I was so afraid, I was so scared. I tell you, I just tell God, so listen, never again. You know?
You know what is funny about listening to you is that so often we hear the Holy Spirit saying to us, do not. And for, I don't know, you know, it's, we seem to think that we're wiser than God. So we reason it away. And God in his loving way, as a loving parent, he gives just enough permission for us to, we call it now, over. And then for us to learn our lessons and pull us back in. But so for you, you've learned your lesson. Did you ever go back to a fete?
That was the last time. You know, I tell you, the Lord sent a bus that night, and I believe, you know, when I reflect, I said, listen, that must have been an angelic assignment, because the bus was empty with seats, and that has never happened, you know, on Reddit. So I mean, after the Lord rescued me that night, I tell you, I made a covenant with him. So listen, Lord, sold out. And that was it for me.
Bless God. So now we see. So you're a life coach. Well, first let's back up. You're a accountant. Do you still practice that?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes.
While at the same time, still, how do you? Because everybody asks me the same thing. You know, how do you manage being a wife, a mother, a banker, a church leader, and somehow we can identify with each other. How do you? I'm asking you because I still can't answer it for anybody. But how do you do it? How do you manage all of the different roles that you're faced with?
Well, I would say that you need courage. You know, I remember the Lord said to me, you know, that, listen, you need to be intentional.
Wow.
You know, you need to be intentional with your time. You need to be intentional with, you know, whatever you do. I was writing the book. I mean, it took me a long time to write the book. But then the Lord showed me that, listen, I was wasting my time. You know, so I had to be...
You know, Esther, I want you to say that again. As a matter of fact, I want you to look squarely in the camera, and I want you to say that again, because a lot of us, especially as Christians, and not just Christians, but just people in general, we want to accomplish things, we want to do stuff, but we tend to procrastinate a bit. I want you to just share what the Lord said specifically to you. Just look in the camera and just say it.
The Lord is saying that we must not be cowards. The Lord said that to me. Don't be a coward. You must pursue, have the courage to pursue your purpose. And, you know, look for time. I mean, your car is an audio on a wheel. I mean, every time I'm not doing anything specific, I'm in a car, I'm in a bus, I have my notes, I'm writing as I go along. So I make the most of, I maximize the time that I have. You know, sometimes when I'm up you know, I have a young baby as well. She's only 2 years old.
Okay.
Yes. And when I'm up, you know, breastfeeding, etc., I'm using that time to, you know, put a few, you know, lines in the book and that sort of thing. So the Lord is saying that instead of saying I don't have the time, I must look for opportunity to maximize the time.
I like that.
Yes.
And you know, it's probably just, I don't think it's coincidental that God would have ministered such a message to you and then brought you over into being an empowerment coach. So what made you become an empowerment coach or a Christian coach? Both. A matter of fact, what's the difference between both?
Well, pretty much, it is still evolving. I'm still coming into the role. You know, I have been mentoring all my life. It is something that I'm very passionate about. I have a lot of, you know, even young ladies in their 30s, and sometimes I look back and say, but I mean, they're not much older than me. But I was always that type of person who is pouring into other people. You know, so I just decided that I'm going to do a coaching course and just make it formal.
Okay.
You know, and so I signed up with Crystal Day, and I became a coach through her network. And as such, I started some little small groups. I started some growth groups with a few young ladies. And I also do some writing, some motivational Mondays. And I also had a self-concept makeover course, you know, little courses that I have in the pipeline that I, you know, send out to different persons. And as I said, this is something that I've been doing all my life. It's just that I sort of formalize it. But as I said, it is still, you know,
work in progress.
Still work in progress.
Well, guess what? You know, maybe this is just God setting you up again to now be very intentional about it.
Yes, yes.
Because as a matter of fact, as I went through your just synopsis of your book and that kind of thing, and the summary and purpose of your book, I realized it seemed as if God is kind of what you call it now, creating a path for where you ought to be going right now. So I want you to tell us what made you write a book or decide to formalize it, because you've always been writing. I forgot to mention too that you're an award-winning poet. So what made you decide now that you would formalize things, and tell us a little about cultivating purpose, the seed concept.
Right. Well, for me, I realized that, you know, the Lord has empowered me, you know, for writing. I remember a specific situation when I was about 14, and I was doing, at the time, I was doing an all-day job, and the employer came to me and told me that, you know, they had to lay me off for some reason, but I tell you, my relationship with God was just so strong that time. And I remember writing a letter to God. You know, and I wrote the letter and I said, Lord, you know I need this job. And, you know, at that time I wanted to help my mom, you know, because she was a single mom. And I said, Lord, I need this job. And I tell him all the reasons why I need it. And by the time I said, your daughter, Esther, you know, the phone rang. The phone rang in the employee's office. And she was pretty much saying that, listen, I don't know what happened, but I got a call that there is a vacancy. You know, so from that, I always used to write. I just, whatever paper I can find, I would just write, put little books together. And so I continued on the same path. And when I preach, I do a lot of research. And sometimes I keep those notes. And then out of that, now, I realize that I'm always speaking about process and patterns. And then I got so excited about the seed because I was doing a lot of preaching on it. And I just decided that I'm going to start collating the notes. And the Lord gave me the pattern for the book. And I just decided that I'm going to just pursue it.
Awesome. Now, I want to dig into a little bit about regarding your role as a pastor's wife. How do you manage that role, in that we have several different church members that are often depending on your family, on your husband? Is there ever a time that you just decide to get selfish and say, listen, this is my husband, back off? Is there ever such a time that you have found yourself, you know, down that road, and how do you manage it?
Wow. You know, the truth of the matter is that I've never felt that way. I'm always seeing, I believe I'm always seeing myself as pouring into people. I made a decision with God that I am available. I remember when the song came out, I'm available to you. I'm not my own. I remember making a dedication to God that I am available. My children are available. My family is available. So I made myself available for ministry. And, from time to time, some of my church members say, "How you find the time to be calling to check up on me, to say, how am I?" And I said, I just have to work with the Lord. If the Lord puts you in my spirit, I send out a text. And as I said, I use my time wisely. I probably might be in the car and I decide that I'm going to just send out text now and see how everybody is. So I find a way, and the Lord, as I said, the Lord empowers me and give me grace, to carry out all the different functions.
I like that. Motivational Mondays. Talk with us. What are those about?
Yes. Motivational Mondays is the Lord has told me that I'm an instructor of truth.
Wow.
So I realize that in this time, there's a lot of error, there's a lot of falling away, or young people not connecting, they're not having a biblical worldview.
Yes.
And I decided that I am going to now write and have a multi-dimensional perspective as it relates to scripture, science, and all the different things to, give people a holistic point of view. Yes, and also to motivate them too in terms of focusing and being intentional, about whatever they need to do and putting the different things in place. So that is pretty much where it was birthed from. And also the need to be consistent. I was challenging myself that, listen, I need to be consistent with something. And I decided I'm going to follow the 10% rule, so to speak, to start small. So Monday was my target, and I just made sure that every Monday I have to hit that target.
And might I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, without fail, every Monday, Motivational Mondays are sent to your phone or whatever it is. Now, I see you have, between your husband and yourself, have this thing called Destiny Cultivators.
Yes.
What is that?
Yes. Well, Destiny Cultivators is something that is being birthed. My husband and I, we share a lot in common. We are both teachers. We like to train. And so it is, there are times when he's called upon to do a lot of training. So pretty much it is, as I said, it's like an unborn baby, so to speak. It's still in that little process.
Yes.
But we are looking to merge, he's also a counselor by profession.
Okay.
So we're looking at how best we can merge all the different giftings so that we can empower people and to cultivate, just coming out of the whole concept of the book, which is pretty much not seeing destiny as a one-off, but as something that you cultivate over time.
So I'm going to ask you something because I know, somebody watching probably wondering, and by the way, this program is aired in 23 other countries. Okay. So there's somebody else watching and saying, we have empowerment, this coach, empowerment, that coach. There's so many empowerment coach. What is it that separates what you're bringing to the table?
Well, as I said, what I'm bringing is heart.
Yeah.
Is meaning. It is, my goal pretty much is to help people to realize their purpose. I've always been passionate about purpose. From I was 12, it is something that I've been seeking, I've been researching, and my goal is just to help people to birth that purpose. I would be just, wherever I go, I do it. If I see you and I said, boy, your potential is so great, why are you here?
Yes.
And I would always be challenging people and say, you need to pursue, you need to do that. So, people will always say, boy, I'm always provoking them into purpose.
Nice.
So this is just something that I do from my heart. And even if, if I don't get paid to do it, so to speak, I will still do it because I just love doing it.
So, we're coming down. But I want you to, regarding your book, because your book, in summary form, was written along the line of the 7 P's of purpose. I want you to just outline those 7 P's for us, those 7 P's of purpose. And while you're doing it, I want you to be ministering to somebody that is sitting on the couch constantly. Because one other thing about Uniquely Me is that I believe that women are strong and that we have a lot of potential, for want of a better word. But I still don't believe that we're capitalizing on it like we should. If you understand what I mean.
Yes.
I think even less. I'm lost of words because I do believe that women, there's so much in us that we can if we put our minds to it.
Yes.
I believe that we can do it.
Yes.
Right. So I want you to speak about those 7 P's. Use it as a form of ministry to somebody that's listening, wondering, can I do it? And might I say, ladies and gentlemen watching, that Esther is, no doubt, she is a unique woman indeed, wearing many hats. But she has found the time to write a book. She has a 2-year-old baby. She's a pastor's wife. She runs the church, for want of a better word. She's an accountant, and the list goes on. But she's going to share with us those 7 P's of purpose. Let's hear them, Esther.
Yes. So, potential is general. Everybody has potential, but purpose is specific. And it is not a one-off thing. You have to pursue it. And you have to understand that there is a process, in all of this. And this generation, we don't want process, we want quick. But, you have to be prepared for whatever your purpose is. And as I said, it's the little steps that you take to the bigger picture. And so it is, you need process. And also you have to understand that there is a price that you need to pay. As I said, the price is your time. The price is your investment. You have to see yourself as an investment, just like the seed, so to speak. And once you invest into yourself, you understand that that is a price that you're willing to pay. And then there is pressure, there is patience. All of these things are helping you to come into the fullness of your purpose. And finally, your perspective and your passion, all of these things are interwoven into it. So I would say that cultivating purpose is telling you to get out of your comfort zone. It is telling you to be intentional. It is telling you that, stop making excuses and start making small steps. And that is what I would want to say. Every step, just start. That is what cultivating purpose is saying. Start, even though you don't see the full thing. Once you start along the way. And I'm a testimony of it because that is the word I got, start. And I just started and I did not wonder and say, okay, I don't have the time. I just stopped making excuses and just start little by little. You will get there. As my friend says, do not look at the trees, look at the forest. That is the main thing.
I love it. Esther, thank you so much for coming. But I want you to do something for me before you go. I want you to challenge me on set. I want you to challenge me. Challenge me to do something before you go. And the thing is that my audience on a global stage is going to be holding me accountable. So I want you to challenge me.
Yes. Okay, Simone, I challenge you to grow into your greatness. I know that you're a great woman, but I am challenging you to, as I said, ask the Lord for nations. I heard you say it. You want nations. I'm challenging you to start preparing, to start making the necessary steps to prepare for nations and continue to be the mentor that you are. So I challenge you to do that.
My God. It's a big one, but I humbly bow and I said, Lord, have your way. Thank you so much for coming. Where can we find you? Where can we find your book? Because I think this is something that we need, or young people need. Where can we find it?
Yes. Well, it's on Amazon at the moment, and I am working on getting it into bookstores. But my name, my number is out there. You can drop me a line. I've been delivering, and I've been doing seminars and different things, especially for the young adults. So you can contact me on my Instagram page, Esther Sinclair, and also Facebook, Esther Hale Sinclair.
So I'm challenging you to begin to do some lives. Since COVID is preventing us, I'm challenging you to begin to do some lives and begin to unleash, allow our young people to begin to see the seeds, begin to plant them and watch the potential. So I need to see when that first live is coming up. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. It's another episode of Uniquely Me. And you just heard from Esther Sinclair sharing on cultivating purpose, the seed concept. Indeed, it was quite an awesome time. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. See you next week with another exciting episode in Uniquely Me with Simone Stewart.
Who am I really? Choices, choices, choices. In pursuit of a career, OMG, I'm a wife. Help! I am a mother. Oh, I'm in church. When do I get to be a woman that God called me to be? Uniquely Me covers the acrobatic endeavors of every woman to balance the responsibilities of being a mother, a wife, a professional, a church leader, a friend, yet still maintain her identity. I too am a mother, a wife, a trained minister of religion, a banker, an entrepreneur trying to balance the many hats that signifies my role. My book will help motivate and empower every woman who is really unique in her own way. Grab your copy today on Amazon because Uniquely Me is uniquely you.
Uniquely Me with Simone Stewart was brought to you by MTM TV, RT3 Media, Boz Drapery, TNT Fashion, TB Art Graphics, Holtz Hardware. Thank you for tuning in to Uniquely Me with Simone Stewart. Remember, Uniquely Me is uniquely you.